Hey, hey, yo, yo. Let's see here. There it goes. All right. We are live, it looks like. Yeah. How you guys doing? Welcome to Beat My Mix 4. As you can tell, my voice is a little messed up right now. I've been having really bad allergies and it's all in my head. So, much deeper tonight. There we go. Yeah. All right. So, hey man, what's up? Yeah, you're here. Cool. What's up, Dan? How you doing, man? Thanks for being here. Yeah. So, I'm gonna go over I guess there was like basically five mixes that made it. There was a top five. There was a top four, and then I added one more, and then two. Jason, he gave me some feedback on the mixes as well, and so I'll kind of go over some of what he had to say. Um, but yeah, I mean, with the voting, I'm a little bit. I don't know. Um, I'm a little concerned about the voting. Just that I don't know if it's being gamed a little bit or what, but normally there's like 8 to 10 votes, and for this one there's been more. There's been 16, 18, and the one I just put up had like 10 votes. So I don't know. And honestly, I'm still kind of undecided a little bit. I feel like these mixes are very close. Hey Mark, what's up, man? That's cool. Yeah, welcome. Welcome. Um, so yeah, we're gonna listen through, and I mean the voting would it would say that Zach got it, and then Jason was a fan of out of all of them, he liked Mix D, which was Demetrius, and honestly, I like a little bit of every mix that was in the top five. I think they all, if I could Frankenstein them together, that would be amazing. But there's, we'll just start at the top here. Mix A was Edgar, so we'll just kind of listen through and talk about that mix. We'll go through each mix. Hello to everyone watching. Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. So let's check out Edgar's mix. Let me know if things aren't loud enough or too loud or whatever.
I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it anymore.
So I like
Could have found you, but I wasn't
I like the vocals. I think they've got a really nice sound.
fun last night.
And the drums are punchy.
Thinking about the good times. Every now and then we get it right. I see it clearly and I realize I'm falling.
The only thing that I've heard in this mix is the hi-hats and the cymbals. They're pretty crunchy, and I think they're overly compressed a little bit. The other thing is that with the drum tracks, so I should have put them in phase. They weren't in phase. There was like the snare drum was out of phase. I've talked about that in the other live streams. Also, like with the vocals, Jason was on a condenser mic, and there's a lot of breaths and things that kind of there needed to be editing on this track, and I'll admit it wasn't perfect, but all that to say, the cymbals were bleeding into the tom mics really bad, and so when those start to get compressed or whatever, whether it be parallel compression or compression on the actual close mic, it starts to get, the cymbals will go out of control. I started a new mix of this song tonight. I'll kind of show you guys that at some point. And I also had to gate the snare drum using a trigger, which I made a video about that for the kick drum earlier, but there was so much hi-hat bleed in the snare drum. So I'll show you guys how I did that, but definitely if you didn't address those things, which, it takes a lot of time mixing live drums to have that experience, to know I got to edit things, I got to gate stuff, all that. If you didn't do that, then the cymbals, especially with parallel compression, they just become too much. And that's a little bit of what I'm hearing in this mix. let me know who's watching. There's quite a few of you watching, so thank you. I like the balance. I like the mix. And yeah. I mean, the crash isn't horrendous. It's not. The crash isn't too bad, but it's definitely maybe a little more prominent than I would want. I like where the bass is. The drums sound good. Cool. Well, it's a good mix, Edgar. Yeah, it's just like I said, just working on the cymbal stuff, and I know you've dealt with some compression stuff in the last couple, or in the other mixes, and the other Beat My mixes, where yeah, I feel like parallel compression. Hey, Steven, how you doing, man? Thanks for being on the stream. I appreciate that. But anyway, yeah, it's a good mix, Edgar. Let's check out Nilton, or VCO is what he was called, or that's his email. Nice and thick.
I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it anymore. I could have found you, but I wasn't looking.
I like the drum mix on this one.
Had a lot of fun last night. It got me thinking about the good times. Every now and then we
Hey, Zach.
get it right.
How you doing, man?
Clearly, and I realize I'm falling down, but there's a first time for everything.
I think like the drums are managed well with the cymbals and the high end and all that stuff. The guitars are just they're pretty crispy in a good way. I like where the vocals are. The background vocals might be a little loud. And this guy, Milton, did a really good job of like kind of bringing the verses up and down into the choruses where it lifts and maybe goes a little wider if you're listening to headphones.
I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it anymore.
I think the bass is sitting in a good spot.
Found you, but I wasn't looking for you anymore. I had a lot of fun last night. It got me thinking about the good times. Every now and then I get it right. I see it clearly and I realize
Yeah, you guys hear how the guitars just lift? That's really cool.
down, but there's a first time for everything. I'm falling down, but there's a first time for everything.
As you guys know, if you mix the song, those fuzz guitars are very fuzzed out and kind of nasty, and they're very clear in this mix. I like that. I like that mix. It's a very good mix. I think one thing Jason commented on, which I knew he would, I've been working with Jason for over a decade now, the delay in the intro guitar here. It's kind of, he's a dry guy. Maybe I should have said that at the beginning of this. I mean, definitely having effects on his voice a little bit, but I've overdone it in the past, and, that's a no-no with Jason. And yeah, what I would say, and I don't mean this to sound rude, is that if we wanted delay on the guitar in the intro, we would have put it there. So that's, we try to track things how we want them to sound. But yeah, that's just, and that's just knowing who you're working with and stuff. But that's cool. I like that effect sometimes. I definitely add delay to stuff. But yeah, that was one of Jason's feedback, was just, the delay during the intro was not something he wanted really. So, all right, let's check out Christian's mix. Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. Thank you for watching. It's cool you guys are here. I really do appreciate that. Some thunderous toms. So I feel like the toms are really triggered, which is okay. Yeah, but so far it sounded cool. I like where the guitars are. Vocals are in a good spot, volume-wise. I feel like the background vocals are in a good spot. I like the snare. The tom trigger is kind of throwing me a little bit. Yeah, Zach, it's a good mix. Pretty good. Hey Christian, cool mix, man. Toms sound huge here. I just know in the intro they ring out a good bit. What I would do probably is maybe gate those. Like they're just kind of hanging on a little too long. If they had a gate that wasn't really doing much except cutting off a little bit of the release, that would be cool. That's a good mix, Christian. Right in the ballpark, man. Let's check out Demetrius's mix. Some panning. More effects. Yeah, I should have said stuff about this earlier. I like the bass and guitars. And the snare sound, it's the natural snare. It sounds pretty good. I always want more snare, you guys know me. Toms sound good. On the latest mix I'm doing right now, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting the toms going in this second half here, or just during the verse, like having them be big. Christian, you did a good job of that, man. Yeah. It feels like, to me, when I listen to it, I'm like, is he really playing the low tom? Like, I can't quite remember if we had two low toms, and I think it was a rack tom and a low tom, but I just wish the low tom was lower. I don't know. I fell off of that hill before, I ain't climbing up it anymore. I feel like the vocals could be a little bit more tucked here. The only reason I say that is because there's only one guitar, and then, you know, obviously the guitar's kicked back in there, but during that second verse, it's a little, there's less going on, so the vocals are louder than, you know, you just got to automate it down a little bit is all. Same with the background vocals. sounds good. I feel like the snare drum's kind of getting lost here a little bit. Toms sound good. Yeah, it's a solid mix. As I'm getting to Zach's mix here next, out of these top five, I would say every one of them had a strong suit. You know, there was something cool about each of them. If I could Frankenstein them together, it would be good. Uh, hey Christian, yeah, um, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Unfortunately, between Jason and myself, I don't really feel like uh, these the mixes where they're at. It's like we could use them for the actual mix, which I want to do that. You know, I apologize. I really do. I even, for me, I'm going back, and this has been great for me because I'm getting to hear your guys' take on it, and now I'm going back and trying to incorporate some of what you're doing. That was not my intention. Please believe me with that. Um, my intention is when I say, hey, we're gonna give you, we're gonna give a prize, which we're still gonna give a prize. We're still gonna give the money, and then when I say I want to give you guys mixed credit, that's totally my intention. I'm not trying to pull anything, but with where the mixes are at this point, they're a little bit too far away, I think, in order for us to use it for the actual mix. So um, I want that to happen. I want that to go there, but right now, I don't know. I think we still have a long way to go. So, and this was a tough song, and I mean I'm struggling with it too. And my rough mix, which I did that kind of as I was recording it, and I didn't sit down and really mix it, and I should have, and I kind of rushed this out for a lot of different reasons. But anyway, let's check out Zach's mix. Pretty in your face. It's cool.
I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it anymore. I could have found you, but I wasn't looking for you anymore. Had a lot of fun last night. It got me thinking about the good times. Every now and then we get it right. I see it clearly and I realize I'm falling
Guitars sound really good. It's a good balance. It's pretty aggressive in a good way. I like where the background vocals are. Good right there. Yeah, man, it's aggressive in a good way. I like that. So Zach knows these critiques, but the only thing that I was having a hard time with originally is just the intro guitars. So I can hear the picking, and it sounds over. The guitars sound awesome in the rest of the song, but in the beginning of the song, that's the only thing that kind of threw me for a loop. Also, there's points where this mix is clipping, which that was one of the things Jason said about it, was just it sounded like almost a little too hot, which I mean that's fixable, if you just add a master fader or whatnot. Um, but yeah, as far as like voting goes, like Zach's the winner, and I mean just listening to that, Zach, congratulations, man. I'm just gonna say you won. You're gonna get the $100, man. And originally, uh, I don't know what it was. Zach's been on every live stream. He's really worked hard on these tracks, and I gotta say, one, I'm sick or I'm congested, but I'm gonna make some excuses, so you get ready for that. But uh, okay, yeah, the limiter. That's what I'm thinking. It's yeah, you're hitting that limiter a little bit too hard, Zach. At least that's what it sounds like. And when I put it in, like I also have gain staged these. Like if you can see, there's like I took this down -60 dB. If I didn't do that, it would be clipping in Pro Tools. Now I don't know. Um, like when you put mastering software, it's like, is it gonna just clip? You're welcome, man. Congratulations. He worked really hard. And originally wasn't in the top four. And I mean, I've been listening to this song for 6 months, guys. It's been a grind, and it's even a little bit more of a grind at this point, just because I got to keep going. I like this song. I've had a great time working on it, but between listening to the 13 mixes that were submitted, something like that, 12 or 13 mixes that were submitted, I don't know. I just kind of missed the boat a little bit. I mean, the biggest thing that I've seen people struggle with on this song is the snare drum, and I would say a lot of that has to do with you got to fix the phase on it. You got to phase align the snare drums. I've said this a bunch on the live stream. You got to phase align them, the snare drum top and bottom, then with the overheads, and you got to make sure that the wave file is going in the same direction. Both snare drums are, at least pointing in the same direction. Um, but anyway, so that I think that's that for that. We're gonna move on to Turan's mix. During this live stream, I'll show you guys the mix I'm working on for this song and some of the stuff I had to do a little bit that I started the last couple of days. And then I'm going to show you one of Dan's new songs. He's got a mix he's working on. Really cool track that he did at his house a lot, and then I've added some guitars and stuff to it and a little bit of bass. But that's a really cool song. I'm really excited about that. Also, we'll talk about what's coming for Beat My Mix. I've kind of got a plan as far as like the tracks and everything. So, but let's move on to Turan's mix here. So, if you haven't said hello, please do.
I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it.
The snare is nice and punchy.
I could have found
Thanks, man. Thanks, Steve.
wasn't looking for you anymore. Had a lot of fun last night. It got me thinking about the good times. Every now and then we get it right.
I feel like the bass could be a little bit louder. It's not bad though. And the snare is nice and present. I'm looking for some fatness in the snare, to be honest. Yeah, a little bit more fatness, but it's nice and loud. It's in a good spot. Sounds good, Turan.
I fell off of that hill.
The vocals are in a good spot.
I ain't climbing up it anymore. I could have found you, but I wasn't looking for you anymore.
Background vocals sound good.
Last night it got me thinking about the good times.
I do feel like I'm missing bass. Just a little bit more low end, a little bit more bass volume. It's pretty good. Well, yeah. It might just be like kick drum or something. Like I feel like I'm missing a little bit of low end, but the bass, I mean, balance wise, I mean, I am hearing everything. Yeah, and the toms probably need a little bit of EQ, just some boost. But cool mix, Turan. Thanks for submitting a mix, man. I appreciate that. So we're gonna check out Andy M's mix here. Let's see what he got going. Say hey if you haven't said hello and you're watching. Big toms. Big kick, big toms.
I fell off of that hill before.
It's a snare sample, but I like it. I might just blend it in with the snare top a little bit. I love using triggers, you guys will see that, but to me, one of the things I learned is I don't just replace, like for kick and snare, I will blend it with the drums if they're usable. There's a song I might put out here for you guys to mix where the drums aren't really that usable and you do have to replace everything, but I didn't record them, FYI. But yeah, as far as like samples go with real drums, it's like I like to do a blend. But yeah, I mean, this is a cool sample, but yeah, I would probably have a little more snare top. It's not a bad blend though. I think there's still some snare drum in there. The claps are fine. Maybe I would lower them a little bit. There's some nice reverb on this vocal. Kick and snare, punchy. They're sitting in a pretty good spot. The kick might be a little bit loud. I could maybe have a little less kick and more toms. But it's very close. I like where the vocal is. And the background vocals are good. Now, I feel like this is a good example of, because I think it's mostly a sample on the snare drum, the hi-hats aren't like insane when they kick in. Check out those hi-hats. That's from the overheads. That is not bleeding out of the snare drum mic, which is a problem, especially when you're compressing the snot out of it like I am. I feel like the kick is kind of eating the bass guitar. If it was just like 2 or 3 dB lower, you'd probably hear more bass guitar. So the riff at the end was cut out there, which that's okay. That's a decision. But yeah, the riff would definitely need to be there. So this is Blaze's mix, Axum Rise. Let's check him out. Hello to everybody watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Cool little ear candy. Definitely sampled, drums, triggers, all that. Big snare. I like Blaze's mix. I mean, and like what he's doing is cool. Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of mixes for sure. Yeah, like I don't know, 13, 12 or 13 mixes. Blaze's mix is great. Like it's he's got a style and I would unfortunately I'd say for this song like I said with Jason, it's a dry thing. He's more of a dry guy, like punchy, not a lot of effects, and I mean this sounds huge. And I mean I knew Blaze does some metal stuff and everything. It more fits into, or it seems like I'm hearing more of that than I'm hearing what I don't know. I don't mean this as a put down, but what the songs was intended to be. It's a cool mix though. I mean, it sounds good. It's just different than what our intentions were.
I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it anymore. I could have found you,
The other
but
the other thing that Blaze did is he tuned the vocal, which is kind of cool. I had to do that. I've tuned the vocal in my session now, and the background vocals. They all needed tuning. That's cool. The little crash or riser, whatever that is. Say hey if you just tuned in. We're going over your mixes. The bass sounds good. He originally had a lot of fuzz on the bass, or more fuzz than some of my feedback was to lower the fuzz, and I think the bass sounds much better, Blaze. So good job, man. Cool. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that mix. It's just, I think, different than if we were trying to use it. It's a little different than what we were looking for, but that's a style thing. And I mean, Blaze has a style, and it's cool, man. He's won a Beat My Mix. He's always right up there. He's got some great mixing chops. So good job, Blaze. All right, here's Marcus's mix. I'll say this too. I level matched, or I tried to level match this stuff. I'm not like a scientific dude, but I'm trying to hit like 15 right here, like plus 15 or whatever. That's where I'm trying to put these mixes at. But some of them just sound louder than others. I don't know. So. It sounds a little crispy on a limiter, maybe. I like the idea. It's a cool idea for the vocal effect. Kind of a chorus telephone thing. So my only thing right off the bat that I would say is just working on getting the kick to be more present and the snare drum. But yeah, man, it sounded kind of cool. So yeah, it's the snare drum, there again, it's needs to be gated, and then I think phase is part of the problem as well. The next one, I'll put everything in phase for you guys, and I'm gonna edit the toms just so you guys don't have to deal with the bleed. But yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that wants to leave that stuff for you guys because in this song too, there's vocal breaths, all kinds of stuff. I'm probably yeah, man, it sounds good. Um, like as far as like the vocal breaths, and then there was stuff too where some bad punch ins and thing. I had to edit drums. that stuff that happens when people like when I get sent a mix and it's like they're paying me to do it, I have to go in and fix all that crap. When I worked or I interned for Ryan Hewitt, he had an assistant who would sit in the other room when Ryan would be working on a mix and the assistant would be sitting in the other room and he'd go through every track and he would cut out all the noise, any like anything like basically any gaps where there was the potential for noise, he cut out all of that. He cut out the breaths and he did all the phase stuff. And that's part of when I get sent a song, that's the first thing I do. Like if I got a song tonight, I wouldn't start mixing the song immediately. I would edit the song, I would gain stage it, I would do the phase, make sure the drums are in phase, set up my buses, get everything set up where I can start mixing when I wake up the next day. So there is kind of a mix prep thing. I don't know if I know I've done versions of that video on my channel. To me, it's way too boring to like actually have anyone watch it on YouTube. But if you guys want me to, I can do a video on how to how to get your songs ready for mix prep, like how to prep your songs for mixing. So anyway, here we are back to the song. It's definitely cool. Like there's it's off to the right side. It's a little lo-fi maybe in a cool way. I like the vocal like creativity. Welcome to the stream, everyone watching. Kenneth, welcome, man. Cool, man. Yeah, there was even like kind of a Beatles thing going on. You're welcome, man. Yeah. Yeah, the crack. Yeah, getting the snare and the cymbal. Yeah, it was. It's hard to manage. I had to do like starting that new mix the last couple days. I had to do a lot of crap just to get rid of all the cymbal wash and yeah, definitely a. It's hard. You got to spend time on it, but that's cool, man. It's a cool mix, Marcus. Thanks for doing it, man. It was interesting. It seemed like you had the drums panned off to the right. I don't know. Yeah, it's like the snare drum was panned off. Maybe you were doing like an audience perspective thing, or it felt like they were like mostly on the right a little bit. I don't know. Like maybe I heard some of it in the left. It's an interesting thing, but yeah, the overheads could be a little tough to deal with. They needed a little bit of 500 hertz scooped out, probably a high pass filter, and then yeah, I'm still working on the overheads myself. So all right, let's check out Giuseppe's mix. Thanks for submitting a mix, Marcus. Glad to have you, man. Yeah, quantize. Yeah, sometimes. I've had to edit drums before. Normally, that's in the tracking process for me. Unless they like, most of the time I leave it alone unless they ask me to do it. And I mean, I think too, when I put out these tracks, I probably need to say, like, especially if we're trying to have you guys mix it for real, like get mix credit and everything. I should have said sorry, not Dan. I should have said Jason likes dry stuff, like I've had to keep his vocals dry, just basically we recorded it how we wanted it to sound. We had that intention. So, all right, I'm going to start back at the toms for Giuseppe. Sounds good. I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it anymore. It's like a room reverb on his voice or something. It's interesting. I wasn't looking for you anymore. Had a lot of fun last The low end's tight. I can feel the kick drum, the snare drum. It's out of phase, but that's, you know, okay. It's not bad though. It's still pretty punchy. Guitars feel like they have like a chorus on it. Thanks, man. Yeah, the cabin's awesome, right? You guys should go to sillandglade.com and look at the pictures there. I did like a really little shitty vlog. I'm going to try to do that more. But yeah, that cabin is amazing. Like when you walk outside at that cabin, if you don't feel peace, I don't know. You got issues because it's just, you're on top of a mountain. And that room is beautiful. It's all wood. It sounds cool. I mean, every song you guys have heard from the cabin has some kind of ambience in the drums. And these are really tight drums, but there's still kind of that room sound. I love the cabin, man. It's a cool place. And CJ, he's an awesome dude. I'm gonna do a vlog. I'm playing bass in the Milestones on a couple of gigs. I vlogged it, so I'm gonna put that up at some point. But yeah, Sill and Glade cabin. If you can ever make it to Stanton to record drums, it's pretty awesome. It feels like there's too much top or bottom snare, but it's a choice. I mean, it's punchy. I want a little more thump, but that's a taste thing. The guitars are a little bit buried. Yeah. Toms sound good there. All right, cool mix, Giuseppe, man. Thank you for submitting a mix. Let's move on to Antonio. I think this is his first beat in my mix. Thanks for throwing in a mix, Antonio. I appreciate it. It's interesting toms. Got some lo-fi vibe going. And then, yeah, I'm going to shut up about the snare, I promise. I can't wait to never talk about the snare for this song again, but yeah. It's just too much bottom snare in the phase, and that's on me. Claps are pretty prominent. The kick's cool. It's got like a, I don't know, I want to say like an analog vibe or something. Kind of metal. Some cool panning going on. I kind of like this snare. It's growing on me. It's an interesting mix. I think it went just to claps there. I don't know if Antonio, if you purposely killed the snare or just lowered it, which is an interesting choice. If I was gonna go to just claps there, like if I was thinking that way, I'd probably like cut it, just be like vocals, clap, and kick drum or something. I don't know. It's kind of neat. It's an interesting effect. I like that the part there at the end. That's cool. This part, I don't know. I enjoy the creativity. Good job there, Antonio. Thank you for submitting. All right, we'll go to Eric H. We got Eric and then Jack, and then we'll go into my mix, I guess, and I'll talk a little bit. I'll show you guys some of the stuff I'm doing there, and yeah, working on this song still. I like I like how fat the snare is. There's like a lot of, I don't know if it's 2 to 5K on the toms. There's like a clackiness. It just sounds like a lot of top end is added to the toms. I think that's some comment that me and when I gave Eric some feedback, it was just that the mix had a lot of top end on it, as far as like it seems like things are being boosted. So he got that point. The kick sounds good. I would like kick and snare to be a little bit louder, but yeah, there's something going on in the top end. I think he was saying he had tendonitis or something, where you start to lose those high frequencies. It's a good balance. There's some verb on that snare drum. For me, it's a little much, but I get where I smell what you're stepping in. I get it. The guitars, it's like the balance feels pretty good, but it just, things kind of feel distant a little bit. That's what I'm hearing at this point. Cool, man. Yeah. Good job there. I mean, so this whole mixing like a full drum set with somewhere between, I don't know how many tracks it is, like maybe 13 tracks. It's at least like 10 or 11. Getting that balance right, and getting, presence and punch and low end on the kick drum right, getting the snare drum to sit in the right place. The whole thing, it's just getting that balance. And then with these drums, you do have to do some corrective EQ, like some scooping out some 500 hertz, and then playing with the low end of stuff. Like I'm going to pull up, oh, I got Jack. We'll go over Jack's mix here, and I'll pull up mine. But yeah, it's just playing with that stuff and trying to, having that picture in your mind of what you want the balance to be, and then trying to get there. I guess for me, I definitely want kick, snare. I want the bass in line with the kick drum, and I want those to be big, punchy elements. Like, those need to be kind of in your face. At least that's how I mix. Everybody's got their own style, and that's totally cool. Like Blaze, he's got a style, and that's awesome, man. And he's good at mixing. It's just a different taste. There's not right or wrong. So, but for me, it's big, punchy kick and snare, and then trying to throw, balancing out that drum set, getting the bass in there with the kick drum, getting the vocals, Like this song, the vocals could almost be just barely over the snare. Like Jason really likes a tucked vocal. Um, but if it's a pop song, then the vocal needs to be louder. But anyway, all right, let's go to Jack's mix here. I know his right and left is off.
I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it anymore. I could have found you, but I wasn't looking for you anymore. Had a lot of fun last night. It
Thanks,
got
Marcus.
me
Yeah,
thinking
good
about
for
the
sure.
good times.
Good job to everybody.
Every now and then we get it right. I see.
You guys did a great job, and I mean, I really appreciate you guys participating in this, and I would like to use them, like I would like to use your guys' mixes and give you mix credit on an actual track. I don't think this is the one though, unfortunately, but there's going to be more opportunities in the future. I've got a song of my own that I recorded in a basement in Baltimore, and you guys are going to get a stab at that, and I'll be mixing it with you, but I'd love to get your guys' hands on those tracks. And then there's going to be a bunch of other stuff coming up. Most of them, though, Out of the Shadows is coming, I believe it is April 14th, and it's like Friday. And I think what I'm going to do, yeah, Friday, April 14th, Out of the Shadows is coming version. I'm not quite sure what that means, Dan. Uh, but yeah, Out of the Shadows is coming. And then from there, let's see, the Milestones have a track coming out in May. And so I'm going to put up some more Blackbird tracks from them. And yeah, so on the 14th, I think Friday the 14th, I'm going to release the Out of the Shadow tracks to my email list. If you're on the email list, if you sign up for tracks, you're on it. So Friday the 14th, that's coming out to the email list. The video is going to go out Monday, so you guys will have a little bit of a head start with YouTube. For Jack and his mix, he does console stuff, and I think he's got something where his master faders, he's got a right and a left, and it just sounds like to me the left or the right fader is lower than the left.
But I wasn't looking for you anymore.
I can hear the semblance of a mix, but there's just some routing stuff going on there. So Jack, if you want help with that, man, you can always send me an email. I'm here to help. So yeah, man, we just got to get your routing set up right. And he mixes on a console completely out of the box, and yeah, it's tough. I think this isn't a good representation. Um, okay, so Dan, oh yeah, yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, yeah, you guys did a great job, and yeah, there's different variations, different versions. Everybody has a spin on it, and I'm not here to try to change what you guys do or anything like that. I'm just here to try to help and give you guys an ear. Just like when I'm at church and somebody else is mixing, I hear what's going on, and it's just input. Like there's a lot of people who have a style, and that's great. That's good. That makes you stand out. That makes something different. If all these mixes sounded identical, I don't know. I'd be worried. All of them had something cool. All of them had something going on where either like Edgar's mix, the drums, they sounded really cool. There was some like really well done EQ, all that stuff. I mean, down the board, everybody had a touch. Like Nilton, the dynamics in his mix were awesome. Christian had, if you're still on here, Christian, yeah, your mix was cool, man. I mean, it was a good balance. And same with Dimitri, and then Zach. I appreciate you watching the streams and us working on the mix and everything. And also, you guys are welcome to voice things. Like honestly, I really am disappointed that we aren't going to do the mix credit thing. That we have to work on the song more. We've put 6 months in on it, but I'm sad about that. I want to get you guys some mix credit. So, all right, we'll go to my mix that I've been working on. I'm going to show you guys the snare drum. This mix will probably crash out stuff. Hey, Christian. Yeah, man, it's a good mix, dude. I think you did a great job. So let's see. I've got I've got the top five imported in here just to kind of use as a reference. Um, but let's see here. This is what I'm doing right now. This is a new session. I haven't put any markers or anything in it. So let's not do that. Somebody else is mixing. I haven't gotten to touch everything. It's a little boomy on the toms. I've been mixing the drums.
I fell off of that hill before. I ain't climbing up it anymore. I could have found you, but I wasn't looking for you.
There's no effects on the vocals.
Had a lot of fun last night. It got me thinking about the good times. Every now and then we get it right. I see it clearly and I realize I'm falling down. But there's a first time for everything.
So you guys can see here, I've messed that one up. I've had to go in and kind of start editing these tracks a little bit, taking out breaths and whatnot. There was also some stuff in the drums I had to fix as well with, I don't know what's going on here with this. There we go. Yeah, so there was things in the drums I had to fix that like stuff where clips were like I was getting stuff popping and everything, so some bad crossfades on my part. You can see here in the toms, I've edited the toms, put everything in phase. I have not EQ'd everything. Also the chat went away, so let me find it. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing something here. All right. Yeah. So yep, I'm just going through. And the original rough mix, I just had TBX 160s on the drums. Here's a free plugin I just found from Analog Obsession, Ill Factor. That dude has a channel called Beat Academy, which is awesome. Definitely, if you guys aren't watching Beat Academy, you need to. That dude, he does a lot of mixing where he'll pull up like a popular song and recreate the sound and everything. It's awesome, especially if you're into production. He's really cool. But yeah, this is a free DBX 160 from Analog Obsession. I can put the link down in the description when the video's over. But I just was trying that out as opposed to the UAD one. I got some parallel compression on the drums. I'll just play those for you guys. I'm still mixing this. I don't even know really. I have to do car test and put it in earbuds and all that jazz. But here, this is the drums. And they're gated, or, yeah. I'm having to kind of crossfade those out. Go to a section here. And I'm trying to get that low tom bigger, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm helping or not. Yeah, man. Once the DBX 160 is awesome, and this one's free for real. Like, I think it's like a Patreon link or something. I don't know, but I love the DBX 160. It's my favorite drum compressor for close mics. So here's without my parallel compression, which I didn't do in the original mix. But I've got a Zener limiter on here, and this is the Ryan Hewitt setting. The drum crush, and then I also just cranked up the input to get a little more distortion. This is what the parallel bus sounds like. Toms are maybe a little I'm still figuring out the toms. Those are tough. Let's see. And then I got bus force on here with some overdrive, a little bit of EQ, scooping out like 700. And then I've got the overdrive and some clipping on it. So this is without it. And I'm sending these, I have my kicks all grouped into a kick bus, and the snare, or in a snare bus. Yeah, their Analog Obsession's cool, man. I dig it. I have a couple of their plugins, I think. I used to have more, But yeah, so I got 2 snare drum triggers going on. So I tried to match. Let's see here. This is a snare trigger. It's actually an Easy Drummer snare. Tea towels from the UK pop. Here's the original snare. And I tried to tune. I'm not that great at this, but I tuned up the sample to match. It's pretty close. And so what I'm doing, then I have the bottom snare. So the bottom snare is like it's at negative, or it's at almost 0, and then +4 on the top snare. But what I'm doing is I have a side chain here. I'm gating this. Basically, the trigger is for the side chain, and or at least to start, that's what I did. And I sent that to a gate, and I made this side chain, the key, whatever it's called, the key input, the trigger. And so this is giving the gate a clean signal of the snare. There's no hi-hat. And I'll show you guys without this gate. I mean, right there's no hi-hat going on, but I'll get you to a section where there's some hi-hat. So that's without the gate. And there's with the gate. Hold on here. With the gate. And then this is giving it a little bit more of that. It's kind of choking it a little bit when it's gated, but the trigger is kind of filling in the rest of that. And so I think I did that with the tube kick. There's a video I did. I did that as well with the tube kick, just because there was a lot of bleed. But it's choking it a little bit. Like I might want a little more release. And if you're in Pro Tools, I'm using the snare expander setting. I really love that for gates because it doesn't choke things too bad. I'm kind of going bonkers with the bass here a little bit. I've got there's a bass, there's a DI and a bass amp. Like I'll kill all this parallel stuff I have going on. Like there's a lot of parallel bass things going. Let's see. So this is why is it not doing it? Oh, okay. Bass main. All right. For some reason, oh, this is the bass bus. That's why. So I've got some EQ on. I got some 560s APIs on there, and then I'm adding R bass for some heft, and yeah, it's making things louder. And then I have this Fatterator thing for a little more gain. Not that it needs it. And there's a CLA 1176 on the main, on the bass DI, and on the bass amp mic. I don't know if I phase aligned this bass. It looks close. I mean, it is good to align these guys. It's a little bit off. That might add a little bit of low end back. But yeah, so I have a bass bus where I'm adding some EQ, scooping out some 72. The bass is just a little bit woofy, is how I would call it. But yeah, I'm going to add some effects, and I'm definitely going to be using your guys' mixes as references. Just trying to, I mean, it's a good comparison. It's really cool to have that, so I appreciate you guys. I really did intend to have you guys mix this song. All right, so the other thing I wanted to show you guys was, I might show you my song, but I'm going to show you Dan's song first here. It's called Crash In On Me. So I really love this song.
Can't seem to put you out when all you do is
So the name of our band's going to be Dagger Red. Dagger Red.
can't seem to let you go. terrified of everything. Despite my best intentions, I just hide. Whoa, whoa.
You guys are awesome, man. I really appreciate you guys watching. You guys have hung with me for most of this, so I appreciate that.
Won't stop till it's too late. Take another, you'll feel great. Till it all comes crashing down.
This is basically all Dan. I play some piano, not in the verse.
For the night, when I close my eyes, they come to life. Guess it don't get much better.
This is his new mix. I like the panning, Dan.
Feels like I'm on my way. Won't stop till it's too late.
I like the distortion you had on the toms coming in.
You'll feel great. Till it all comes crashing down. Take it back and kill the pain. If I could, I'd break free of these chains. Revive my heart and take my soul. Because of you, I have no self-control. Feels like I'm on my way.
Nice. Sounds good.
Feel it coming now. Won't stop till it's too late. Take another, you'll feel great. Till it all comes crashing down.
So that was my first time hearing the new mix, man. That sounds great, man. I'll have to give it a little more of a listen when I'm not, doing a live stream. But it sounds good to me, man. I like it. So that is so Out of the Shadows comes out April 14th, and those tracks are going up that day for you guys. And then there's another song that we have, and then that's going to be the third song. So we're trying to put out, I think it's going to be hopefully a song a month for the next 6 months. And yeah, so I programmed some drum stuff in there. I'll show you guys kind of what I did there a little bit. This is Easy Drummer right here. This is what I sent to Dan. And then I also added a Moog, which Dan added a Moog too. Which that's hard to hear. You're not even going to be able to hear it. The main thing I added, there's piano, which is low, but it's still in there. I think it's pretty cool. And the tremolo guitars and the chorus. And then the whirly. I'm just doing the same thing on piano as I did on the or on the Wurlitzer as I did on the piano. And this was the rough mix. So he just sent me this with well, that's with drums. Here's with no drums. And then during the bridge, I went a little nuts. This is all Arturia plugins. Dan said I made him sound like a vampire. Something like that. I thought that was hilarious. So there's some pads. Yeah, it definitely sounds like someone's coming out of a coffin, like in a good way though. And then here's the picking part I added during the chorus. So I had a lot of fun working on this. It's really cool to collaborate with Dan, and he's writing some awesome songs. I love this song. So hopefully you guys we'll get some tracks going for that. Um, that'll probably be in a couple of months. But I'll show you my song that I recorded with a drummer in Baltimore, and it is not done. And yeah, but I'm thinking about putting these tracks out for you guys. Like, let's see, like I'm thinking about. So there's the Patreon thing, which I don't know what I'm doing. Like, to be completely honest, I have no clue what I'm gonna do here. It's like I want to do 2 songs a month. Um, I want to do live stream feedback. I feel like, let me know in the comments. I think that was cool. Like, I'd rather do live stream. Oh, great. I got this message now. I'd rather do live stream feedback than write 30 emails of feedback. I think to me, that's more fun. That's more personal. And yeah, I think it's cool to get like um, real time feedback. So yeah, I don't know. You guys can let me know about that. I did create a Patreon, and it's got a $2 tier, which is basically I am concerned about doing the voting. Like I want you guys to have a voice, but I don't know, or like most of the time with these polls, I've had like maybe 10 votes, but today it was like 16 votes. I don't know. I don't want the system to be gamed. And I mean, it's not just all about your votes. I pick the winner normally, but this was a really hard one. The top 5. The reason there was 5 is because there was 5 like mixes that were all in the ballpark that were pretty good mixes, and so I kind of want to put that in Patreon. There's a $2 tier, and then there's a $5 tier. I think I'm at the point where if you do the $2 one, you'll get the bonus track and everything. And then there's a $10 one. I'm not dying to do that. I mean, it's not going to be a lot of money for me or anything like that, but I would like to try to monetize this at some point. I am putting money into it and time, but at the same point, I'm here to build the community. That comes first and foremost. So, but there's a part of me that wants to put voting stuff behind a paywall just so not just anybody on YouTube can go and vote. And then 2, I want your guys' help picking songs, which there again, I think it would be cool to have that in Patreon or Discord or something like that, because I'm mapping out the next couple months, and I know that Out of the Shadows is on the 14th. I might just wait for that. Like, I might just wait for those tracks. But if I'm gonna do 2 a month, I mean that is work for me and all that stuff. I don't know. Part of it's about building the YouTube channel too. I mean, like, you guys watching, like, there's been a handful of you guys watching this whole time. I really do appreciate that. That's as good as money because I need the watch time. So thank you for watching. But yeah, I want to do multiple tracks a month. I want to do a live stream every week. Like, I want to do feedback and stuff. So, but if you guys have interest in the Patreon, that would really help. Kind of like, I think that's where we can start doing stuff where, like, to me, I don't really trust the YouTube polls. And I want to be able to trust that. And I want to have a place where we can, I mean, I'll put up more polls. Like, if nobody joins the Patreon, then I'll just put up a poll on YouTube. I probably shouldn't say that if I want people to go to the Patreon. But anyway, let's see. This is my song I just wrote in the last, I don't know, 6 months. And I don't know. Singing is the thing that I think a lot of singers have a hard time hearing their voice. So that's, I'm struggling with that. This part's cool.
Speak to me.
And this isn't a mix, this is just the rough.
And tell me things I cannot see. Stories of love and loss. More heartache than I ever thought.
So these drums were done in the drummer from the Milestones, his basement.
I see a road, it speaks of you, and all the times that we drove through. A time machine waits in my mind, 'cause when I drive I can't get by without thinking about all the times we had. And everywhere I go it makes me sad, 'cause you're not here sitting next to me, talking that shit and laughing. Abandoned buildings speak to me, tell me things I cannot see, stories of love and loss, and more heartache than I ever thought. I know. Feeling hopeful in the morning time, see the sun come up over the mountainside, see open fields off in the distance, what stories hide in my vision, stories of love and loss, more heartache than
So these are the drums that we did. I've got another vlog style video I'm probably going to make about going and recording drums at this dude's basement. I mean, it was just a crappy little basement. We had a Behringer mix rack. It wasn't even the board. It was this like rack unit, and it was kind of a pain, honestly. I use a Behringer style board every Sunday, and I was having a hard time navigating it. But I went there with my tube mic. I had two pencil condenser mics, a beta or the SM7 and a 57, and then he had a bunch of mics too. We put I think it's an SM7 inside the kick, and then I had my tube mic. So like, here's the kick drum. But the thing that I guess this whole thing is, I want to do a vlog style thing where it's like basically we can go and record music anywhere and use any equipment, and it's not going to, like, we don't have to have a Neve console and $5,000 or $10,000 worth of microphones to make a good sounding recording. I mean, that's one of my messages of this channel. So here's the tube mic. And then we just have an SM7. And then I have a kick trigger. I am using a trigger. But this is another Beat My Mix candidate. You know, I had to edit this stuff together. This is not, this wasn't a live drum take. We kind of were writing the song as we go. I mean, if you want to hear the room, I mean, there's not much to it, right? But as long as all these mics are in phase, I can make this sound good. But yeah, this is definitely a candidate for one of the next Beat My Mixes. It might be, if I do put out I'm debating about putting out tracks on Monday. And this might be it. I also have on the Patreon page, if you guys go there, I also have it on SoundCloud. There's 4 songs up for what I would be Beat My Mix 5. Beat My Mix 5 might end up being Out of the Shadows, but if I go look at let's go to the SoundCloud, and I'll play you guys some of the options for the next one. That's an option. The song's called Abandoned Buildings. That's an option, and that's kind of a demo, but I'm at the place where I don't want to just, like, I'm okay putting out demos, you know, and it's like I had to edit those drums together. It was copy and pasted, a lot of it, and I made the best out of it I could. Is it perfect? No, but done is better than perfect. So this is one song. This was from a band I was in called Cobbler. We recorded this in 2016 in my parents' basement. It's called Honey, Let's Go. So this is a candidate for tracks if I put out another one before Out of the Shadows. This is my buddy Josh, one of my best friends, singing.
I can see the shadows creeping up on us.
I'm playing bass, and I mixed it.
But where did we go wrong? Oh, honey, let's go.
It's a fun song.
Pull me low. Oh, honey, let's go. We can't stay here tonight. There's something that they know. It just doesn't feel right. Oh, honey, let's go.
So yeah, that's what I love that song, and that was actually, you guys could probably, if you know the Killers or if you were listening to rock music in 2004, which is when we wrote that song. We never recorded it properly, so when I got the basement studio up and running, we recorded that in 2016. But a lot of Killers influence in that song, and there was another band I was thinking of. But this is another one with Josh singing, and we wrote that in this room. It's actually arcade drums, so it's just a 2-track drum track. So Blaze was talking about doing a pop song. This is about as poppy as I get with my songwriting.
Hollywood, here we come. Lights, camera, action. We're the main attraction. I dialed you up on my paper cup, but there was no interaction. Maybe lack of reception. I'm bringing all my.
It's just a arcade drum beat, and I added some samples. I played bass. Actually, I played pretty much everything on this song. The keyboards, except for the drums. That's a loop. But if you guys wanted a pop song, this would be it.
I'm gonna be a star. Find my name on the boulevard.
This almost goes into like Katy Perry territory or something. I don't know. It's a fun song. I love that song. It's a cool song. This is called Shadowlands. It's by a friend of mine who I mixed like 8 songs for. His name's Keith Zulka, and he's one where he recorded tracks with a drummer. They mic'd up kick, snare, tom-tom, and 2 overheads, and they made the drum sound as flat as possible. They're like, oh, well, he'll use samples. And so the first song, the drums are awful as far as the sound of them goes. The toms sound good. That's about it. And so I had to trigger everything, and it was 6 mics. And then from there, I'm like, dude, let me help you record the drums for the next songs. And we went to his drummer's basement. The guy had an API 3124, which I've had in the past. It's a 4-channel API preamp. It's just sitting there, and they weren't even using it. That's a $2,000 4-channel preamp. I mean, API and Neve, those are the 2 consoles that, like, if you go to a nice studio, those are the best consoles you can have. Maybe an SSL, but API preamps are great, especially for drums. So this song is me miking up the kit with, like, we had a sub kick, we had a 450 or 421 inside the kick, room mics, all of it. And I mean, this song, I'll have to play the other one for you guys before we did the drum miking, but this one sounds really cool, I think. You can make good drum recordings anywhere, in my opinion, with budget gear. It's kind of Queens of the Stone Age to me a little bit.
Divine until the slip and fall.
This dude really likes Alice in Chains, and he's an awesome guitar player.
Warped visions dancing in the night. Through eternal struggles, this
Yeah, definitely some Queens of the Stone Age. So that's an option for if we do a song between now and Out of the Shadows. And then this is Simple Times. You guys did Devin's song, I guess, last time. So this is another one of my songs from Green Light at the End was the name of the band. And this is another Jeff Giuliano mix. So I'd love to, if you guys have a vote, let me know. I'm tempted to put up Abandoned Buildings. That's the new one that I haven't even mixed it.
we packed our bags and headed for the coast with nothing but love for those simple times
I'd probably redo this vocal.
when we were free.
I think I could do it better now. But everyone always thinks that. And this is Dave on drums.
And now I long for those simple times.
And he's doing backup. Just go to the end. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's some other stuff that's coming down the pike. I'm going to Miami with Josh, the dude that was singing that Honey Let's Go song, and Paper Cup. We're going to record with our old drummer. We've been writing new music. We're going to be doing some of that. I'm also going to record with my friend Adam Culver in Nashville. He's actually a radio host, a morning radio host out in Nashville on, I don't know the name of the channel. He sent it to me earlier. It is like, I don't know. Somehow I've lost it now. But yeah, he hosts a morning radio show in Nashville, and during the pandemic we started writing songs. I had a bunch of songs that I was just producing here in this basement on MIDI keys and all that, and I started sending him stuff. And so we've got 3 songs that we want to record together. So we're gonna do that in Nashville. We're gonna go to a studio. Florida, we're going to a studio. This guy actually. We're paying for all the bells and whistles. We're going to do analog tape. Okay. We're going to be recording through API 500 series preamps, maybe analog tape. I don't know if we're going to be tight enough to do that. You have to be really good to play to tape. But it's an option. But he's got a lot of analog gear, really nice equipment. So I'm going to vlog that. Me and my buddy Josh, he's my best friend. Him and Dave. Dave was one of my best friends. But we're going to take a road trip to Miami. We're going to record there for a day. I'm going to put up the tracks. I'm going to vlog the thing as best I can. I'm still trying to figure that part out. And then I'm going to Nashville. The Miami trip is in July. The Nashville trip is going to be either May, June, or August. I don't know yet. But that's what's coming up. Also, the day after Easter, I'm going to Austin for 5 days to see my mom, and that will be, I guess those tracks will go up on Friday. I'm going to be on an airplane, so I got to figure out what content I want to do for that. But thank you guys so much for watching this. I really do appreciate it. I'll put a Patreon link if you guys want to do that. Cool. If not, I guess I'll take the hint. And we'll just keep going this way. You guys can always shoot me an email too. I'm open to whatever opinions you have about the format, how we did this, and everything. Yeah. So congratulations to Zach for winning. Good job, man. I I really appreciate you tuning in to all the live streams and all the mixed feedback. That stuff, like, that does make a difference. I do factor that into these decisions. When people, if something's kind of close, it's like the person who's putting in the work and really showing up and being a part of the community. I really, I appreciate that. So I'm going to keep going with this. We're going to keep putting out tracks. Definitely Out of the Shadows is coming out April 14th. As far as putting out another song, if I did it, it would be Monday the 3rd. Um, so, yeah, if you guys have any opinions, please email me at homestudiorescue@gmail.com. Otherwise, maybe I'll put up a poll of these songs on YouTube if nobody goes to the Patreon. So, anyways, thank you guys so much, and I will catch you on the next one. All right, see ya.